Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Monday. We're going to jump in with a question here. What's the hardest issue you've ever had as part of leadership? For most of us, the hardest part about leadership is leading ourselves. And that's the toughest person we're ever going to have to lead because, well, first of all, we're with ourselves all the time. And second of all, we hold ourselves to a different standard than we do other people. So think about this. Most of us have a tendency to judge ourselves by our intentions, but judge other people by their actions. And if we're misinterpreting actions, the intentions get missed. So when it comes to frustrations with coworkers or people that we're leading, that can be a huge miss, and that can lead to a lot of issues. Many of the things and the frustrations that we see come from misleading ourselves or not leading ourselves well, not holding ourselves accountable, or not being authentic about what our actions are coming across as, even though our intentions might be good. One of my new favorite authors, and I love his podcast, is Jocko Willink. He's a former Navy SEAL. He's got a leadership company now that he runs, and he's got a book out called Extreme Ownership. And one of the things about extreme ownership that he talks about, and this is something he learned from the Navy SEAL teams, was where he talks about when you're in the midst of a situation, no matter how intense it might be, you have to detach yourself and be able to look at it from the outside. Because so often when we're in that situation, we get caught up in how we're viewing it and our perspective, and we don't see how other people are approaching it, and that can affect how we react to their actions and their words and their thoughts because we only see it from our one perspective. So if we're able to detach and look at it from the big picture, that helps us get a better idea of how we need to be in that situation, leading ourselves, and in many cases for a lot of leaders, leading other people as well. Can also lead to a lot of issues when it comes to communication. As a leader, we need to be able to meet people where they're at and take them to where the team or the organization is going for what their purpose is. But often that um, perspective gets where, as a leader, we try to get them to come to our um, comfort zone. Instead of meeting them where they're at, we try to have them meet us where we're at. So this goes back to how are we leading ourselves? How are we dealing with understanding how I communicate with other people? And that can have a huge breakdown in not only communication but connection with people, and that can lead to mistrust of the leaders because I'm only seeing it and doing it from my perspective, and I'm not understanding where the other person is coming from. So a simple example is most people are either we fall in a huge spectrum, but um, let's just break it down into a dichotomy of people oriented versus task oriented. So if I'm a people oriented person, I'm going to be very cognizant and very focused on how we relate, how the other person's life is going, any big things that are going on in their lives, whether with kids or family or other things, trips coming up. But if I'm talking to a task oriented person, that stuff's just not as important to them when we're communicating about whatever the project is. And if we are both trying to get something done, and I'm trying to talk about their personal life and they're trying to work on this project and their task, they're going to feel like you're slowing them down. And you're going to feel like they're being rude simply because they're not talking about this other stuff. Well, if we can understand both sides of it, especially understanding myself and what my priorities are when it comes to, in this case, am I more people, am I more task oriented, and meeting that other person where they're at, perhaps I need to slow down a little bit and talk to them where they're at, or perhaps I need to speed up and try to meet them on their pace. That can open up lines of communication better than a lot of things. And it's a very simple understanding, and there's a very simple way of going about it. And that's one of the things that having a coach like myself can help with, is understanding how you communicate, understanding how your people communicate, whether that's coworkers or people you're leading on your team. And that can open up communication in such a way that we go beyond communication. And it's not just about the words we're saying, but it goes into a connection where we get on the same page and we stay there, which makes everything more efficient, which makes things a lot more peaceful and a lot more enjoyable to be in that particular environment. So, the question for you then today is, how are you leading yourself? Are you able to step back and take a look at not only your intentions, but how your actions are coming across? Or do you get caught in the idea of, well, I'm doing everything I can and the other people around me need to step it up? That's my question. That's my challenge. Let's talk if you're interested in learning what your particular style is of communication. Have a great day.